Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, as always, is Ben.
Yo.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going out in the world right now. Black Lives Matter. A lot of protests. We're going to talk about stuff at some point, but it's going to be on episode 1 of the Attack and Defund God podcast. So look up for that. Right now, I'm too fucking tired, and I just need to talk about something that makes me happy. So we're going to talk about some comic books.
Yeah.
Cool. Defund the police.
Yeah, bud. So I do want to start out by saying I unfortunately could not skim through these to refresh myself because my Marvel Unlimited ran out. But yeah, it was very good. We did Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool. For those who have tuned in previously, you might remember this was part of the comic sampler that Hank had me do, and I enjoyed both of them. So we decided to do the full run. I guess full run of those. What's series? Is series the correct term here?
Well, Spider-Gwen is technically 2 runs that we read.
Right.
Because the writer changed for the last part. But yeah. Gwenpool, Unbelievable Gwenpool is 1 run. Spider-Gwen is a mini-series. It's a one-shot, then a mini-series, then an ongoing that ends, then another series that ends. And then there's another one that started up since then, but we didn't do that one because there were only a couple issues of that on Marvel Unlimited so far, because that's still going on. But that's the same creative team as under. They rebranded it to Ghost Spider because they decided that there were too many Spider Women, so
Dude,
Ghost Spider, whatever.
So
there are many characters in Marvel Comics that have the same name.
I will say, going in, I fully expected to, based on what I had read previously, I really expected to like Spider-Gwen the most, and Gwenpool would be nice. Absolutely the opposite. Gwenpool definitely exceeded expectations. I really enjoyed it. Very good.
Yeah, that book is great. Spider-Gwen's good too, but Gwenpool just is doing more.
Yeah. So my thing with Spider, I don't know, someone's drilling something or grinding something. Dentist work. I don't know. My thing with Spider-Gwen was so I really like Spider-Verse. I'm like, man, I want more Spider-Verse. And then I started reading Spider-Gwen, and I was like, not like this though. there was a bit too much. I guess time dimension hopping, I suppose. It felt like I needed a lot more background knowledge than I had. She's talking with these other chicks that are also Spider-Woman or Spider-Girl or equivalent thereof.
That's because you didn't read the event that she came out of.
Yeah. And
so honestly, part of the fun about reading this for me is since I kind of stopped reading comics regularly in 2015. This is the first comic I've read in a long time where I didn't have the extra outer context. Because just when I was reading comics, I would just read everything.
Yeah.
So if there was an event, I would read the event and I would read all the tie-ins as it was happening. So here, I could have gone and read all the events so that I knew what was happening. But as a person who read comic books his whole life, I used to just read things and then not know what the fuck was going on. So that was fun to have that experience again of just going, every time there was a crossover, just ignore it. And just roll with it because I can figure it out.
it took me a hot minute. It took me a hot minute in some of those parts to realize that like I had skipped multiple issues worth of content, and now we're just like picking up, and I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Yeah. And it's welcome to Marvel Comics, baby.
I was sweating a little.
I mean,
bit.
because it's technically fine of Marvel Unlimited. Like, you have access to all that stuff too. You just have to go, but you do have to go find it.
Yeah, yeah.
But also just like
lazy. I mean,
yeah, sure.
I did feel a little bad when there was like a big event that happened and they rolled back and like people died.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, man, that's
Spider-Geddon happened.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was
all of the comic was all about Gwen's going to funerals.
Yeah, and like having to tell their next of kin or whatever.
Yeah, that was her purpose in life.
Yeah, it I don't know. It felt
died.
I don't think there was a single point in that comic where I felt like I knew what was truly going on and I had context for everything. There was so like everything required. It felt like it required some bit of background knowledge.
I mean, to be fair,
Felt that
like
way.
again, the one shot that this came out of has that feeling, but there is no other context.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spider-Gwen starts with Peter being dead. That backstory that you get flashed back to over and over again, that never actually happened in a comic.
Yeah,
never did that with other than flashback. So it's kind of by design in some respects, but also, yeah, if you're not reading the tie-in events, you're definitely missing facts. Although, I mean, they fill you in.
Yeah. I never felt like I was truly missing facts.
You just like, don't have the emotional connection to anyone who died.
Yeah, I guess more like I had the facts, but I didn't have the context, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the best way I can think of it.
And then the other thing I'll say about Spider-Gwen, it's not nearly like as fun as Spider-Verse. It's a pretty...
It is, yeah.
Like, things go bad for Gwen constantly.
Yeah, dude.
It's a bummer of a book, kind of. But I find it compelling.
Yeah.
I like
absolutely.
It.
I think
it's not like fun times.
Mm-hmm. No,
definitely gets to the point where you're like, why are we going back to the Bodega Bandit? It stopped being funny. It was never funny, but it's like really out of place now.
Or the what bandit?
The Bodega Bandit.
Oh, the that like dude that
who's just always
she keeps stopping
places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her arch nemesis,
right,
as he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I could have done without that. That was like my least favorite part of the whole book. That stupid character.
So,
because like a spider person should have terrible villains. That's like ingrained in Spider-Man stuff, but he just especially
he's terrible.
He's the kangaroo.
What about Big Square? He's my favorite villain.
A Spider-Man villain who dresses up like a kangaroo. And then Spider-Man beats him, and then he shows up with like robot kangaroo legs. Next
oh shit! He went Darth Maul.
And he gets beat up just as easily. Well, he's a member of the Legion of Losers. Classics. Spider-Man.
Shit, who isn't? You know.
The Green Goblin is not a member of the Legion of Losers.
Well,
Hobgoblin. Most Spider-Man villains you've heard of aren't a member of the Legion of Losers.
So, I did really like, after I sort of settled into it a bit, I did like the world hopping and everything. Like, of course I was a little bit lost, but like, it's just stuff that seemed so established that I had no who's the dude? There was like the quote, like, if you're lost in the world, like, find yourself so and so. He's like that genius guy who makes like
Reed Richards.
Yeah. If you're lost in the world, find yourself a Reed Richards or whatever, or lost in the universe. and like she rolls
Mr.
up to him as,
Fantastic.
she rolls up to him as
Fantastic
like a 12-year-old. She's like, oh, you probably don't know who I am or whatever. He's like, yeah, you need help like getting back to another dimension, sure. Like,
Yeah.
just everybody is coming. Like, it's I enjoyed that concept.
Yeah, because it like there was a storyline of like that there's like a council of Reed Richards.
He's Rick.
Like, yeah, but I think it predates that.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So yeah, it's like because it's definitely a 2000 story, but I forget when that happened. A long time ago, but it was Jonathan Hickman, big thing. And they all had like the top Reeds. There's one that's like bald and just has a beard. They all have like infinity gauntlets from their universes. The leader ones.
Wait, what? Like they just like
they just have them.
They
took the infinity gauntlet of their universe. You know.
Nice. Did they do any snapping?
That the gauntlet is way more powerful in comics than it is in those movies. It doesn't just do snapping. You're God. You're not. It doesn't have any of those downsides.
What downsides did it have in the film?
Well, the part where it's like hard to use, you use it and you die or whatever. Like Hulk snaps and his arm is ruined. Like none of that happens in the comics. You just use it.
Okay.
Anyone can use it.
That makes far
There's
more
no, like,
sense.
Restriction.
I guess I thought so. I skipped a lot of that context, of course, but like I remember in Guardians of the Galaxy, like the whole big thing was that they like held the whatever stone together and they were able to muster it. I suppose some part of me thought that like when the shit was in the gauntlet, you could just kind of use it as you wish instead of having to deal with that shit. Like the gauntlet was the conduit or whatever instead of your life.
Yeah.
I mean,
the comic, the gauntlet is just Thanos' glove. This is the glove he happens to have.
Yeah.
That's why it looks like Thanos' glove, because it's just he put the gems in his glove.
Yeah.
He wore gloves.
Did any of the Reed Richards with the Infinity Gauntlet you just like kick back and use it for like infinite tacos?
In the story, they don't really use it because they in the story they get around it by saying the Infinity Gauntlet only works if you're in the universe it's from.
Classic.
And they're in like a pocket side universe, so it doesn't. They're just for show. They're just very gaudy.
Just for Now, like, I just want the comic where they're chilling at the citadel of Reeds, and one of the Infinity Gauntlet ones is like, I gotta go do a taco run. I'll be right back, and just goes to his own universe and lets it flow.
Yeah.
Anyway, circling back. I like the it's very similar concept and a similar reason why I like it probably. Just going, I got a little bit lost, admittedly. Was she going ahead in time or just to a different universe where like her and Miles got married and had kids? That was a different universe, and in the future.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of it's weird because the way time travel works in the Marvel universe is time is always expanding. So there are always every possibility is a different alternate future. Mm-hmm. So they're like infinite alternate futures. So that's like a possible. But in that case, they were doing that story by saying this is a specific other universe that's just similar to the one we're in.
Yeah.
Just in the future.
Okay.
And like he's like more directly tied to this. But usually the Marvel universe does not work on Back to the Future time travel rules. That's usually not how it works.
Okay,
so you can do like whatever you want.
Yeah, you can't just go.
And it's just a separate timeline.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, it makes it easier in many ways, but also.
Yeah.
So I think things would have been far. I could have done with less Spider-Ham. He made things confusing. He made things confusing. Is he real? Is he not real? Now he's in this other universe, but I thought didn't.
I mean, he's just in the beginning because he's imaginary.
Yeah, but it was
real.
I don't know.
In the other universe,
I was so stressed.
He's a real character.
They were hitting me with so many
Peter
things.
Porker. I mean, they're assuming you read Spider-Verse, which was many things.
You know what they say about assuming.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I mean,
or,
look at
yeah.
look at the Pokemon video game franchise. They don't assume anything. They assume that you've never touched a video game in your life before starting.
Yeah, they make those for the smallest of babies.
That's the sort of comic book I need, dude.
Man. Not generally mainstream superhero comics skew a little older. They usually do like different imprints that aren't main universe. That skew younger. Or, they do kids books too. You just read.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Goes to Paris or whatever. I think that they made a kids book based on that movie.
Great.
Or whatever.
Like
based on Far From Home.
They do like Far From Home they did it on? Ugh.
Yeah.
Was it as much
like
of a downer?
Book.
Was it him being sad the whole time? Was it Spider-Man crying on the Eiffel Tower?
I don't think so. I doubt it. But I didn't read it. I only saw it in a store. I was like, that's the thing. I was almost compelled to buy it, but I did not.
I've been there with Star Wars stuff. Oh, Star Wars Forces of Destiny comics for 3-year-olds? It's probably canon, though. I mean,
definitely not canon.
Oh, the Spider-Man comic wasn't canon?
Definitely. Oh, for one, it's based on the movie. So, already definitely not canon. Movie's not canon.
The movie's not canon. What? No, it's canon within the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, it's canon to
but
the
not
movies.
like other.
Who gives a shit about that canon?
Yeah, no.
That canon's worthless. It's not mainstream Marvel Universe.
After
it's not
seeing
the canon.
After seeing that film, I agree. I couldn't deal with it, dude. I couldn't. It's too much. It's too much. That being said, I'm prepared to go balls deep on
Spider-Ham was the problem, not that suddenly there's another Spider-Woman.
Oh, that was fine. It's all about context. Okay. It's all about context. No, like I meant for the movie. Like I couldn't deal with the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, too much Avengers. I just want like Spider-Man specifically, and I also don't care about his friend Neil.
Wow.
Just straight up, I don't give a fuck about Neil. The movie could have not had him, and I would have been happier probably, if maybe just as happy. But just Spider-Man, dude. I like I don't. It's not a specific problem with Spider-Ham. It's just in the he was fine in Spider-Verse.
Peter Porker, dude.
Peter Porker. I forgot that was his name. Don't they keep calling him Spider Pig? Yeah, they keep calling him Spider Pig.
Yes. Yeah. Not his name. That is a character from the Simpsons movie.
Oh yeah, that I remember vividly.
It's the one good song in that movie.
Everybody at school was singing it. Even people who'd never.
That's my big problem with the Simpsons movie. Not enough songs. What are you doing? What are you doing?
So, Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to say about Spider-Gwen overall. Um, yeah, it all kind of blurs together. I mean, it seemed very comic booky, I guess. Like
Sure.
it didn't, like, I guess it pretty perfectly fit into some, like, this is a comic book and it does comic book things. It didn't feel like crazy different. Not that I have a lot of context for what would be different, but it doesn't feel like it did anything that would stand out from the norm, right? Maybe.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say. Like, the things that stand out more are, like, super niche things, like the ways in which characters are different from the normal universe versions of them, or whatever. Like, that in this version, Daredevil isn't a superhero, he's the kingpin of crime. Instead of, like, fighting the kingpin. He's, like, beating the kingpin and replace him. And, like, in this version, the Punisher, his family wasn't murdered by the gangs, by the mafia. Instead, his family just, his wife just left him because he's terrible. And he's a out of control cop. He's a cop.
Okay. See, I picked up on I picked up on the Punisher bit. I did not, because I think they used that same symbol. I did not pick up on the Daredevil bit. Obviously, I know, like, I remember the character.
I mean, they draw him like a devil a bunch, so that would be the clue in.
For some reason, like, now that you say it, of course,
he's blind. He has Daredevil's powers.
See, I know he's blind, but I know Daredevil is blind, but I don't know enough about Daredevil to like make that connection easily. Okay, so
also a lawyer.
I didn't know he was a lawyer.
Like,
I guess, like,
truck outside my
he
window.
He was also in, yeah, because we're doing our podcast. The classic. I guess he was also in She-Hulk.
Yep.
Yeah. So I probably could have made that connection, but it just focusing on other things, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, like, just not stuff that stands out to someone who isn't as familiar. I mean, I guess for me, like,
Gwen's friends, the Mary Janes, those are all those women are all characters that I think they all dated Peter Parker at some point. I don't remember if Gloria Grant actually, if they dated. But those are all, like, supporting female characters from Spider-Man. Like, Mary Jane is obvious. Betty Brant also worked at the Daily Bugle. So that's pretty set.
What's the chick's name from the William Dafoe Spider-Man trilogy? That's the only way I can. It's the best way I can think of to define it. I forget the dude's name, the main character, the main actor.
Tobey Maguire.
Sure, him. Yeah.
You could call it the Sam Raimi trilogy. Sam
Raimi
directed those
okay, I was
movies.
thinking of that name, but that's the director. Yeah. Tobey Maguire. Yeah. What's the chick that, like, baked a cake for Peter? He's, like, Russian or Ukrainian or something.
Baked a cake for him. What?
It's like his neighbor. It's like in his apartment building. It's like his neighbor. She, like, actually gives a shit about him.
I don't remember that character.
Forgot the worst character. You forgot the best character in the worst movie. How dare you?
Look,
Like
man,
Uma something?
Spider-Man. That first Spider-Man movie exists just for that scene of William Dafoe talking to himself in the mirror.
And it's a good
and
scene.
Everything else is a wash.
A damn good scene.
One take. That was one take.
Hell yeah.
They edited it. They cut it in editing. I don't know why, because he said on the record, like, he did that in one take. They just sort of moved the camera. but there's a cut in it, so it looks less impressive when you watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like my biggest thing is the art style of Spider-Gwen was totally 100% fine, but that's it. Like it didn't do anything for me. Like I don't think I cannot think of any like wow moments in like any way. Like Gwenpool had a lot of moments where I was like, just the art style or the decisions they made, I was fucking laughing. Like because it was just great. Like the way that they would draw things, or
there were definitely way more faces that I wanted to turn into emotes for the Discord in Gwenpool.
Dude, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones. Or like I think of Star Wars, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. Like that art style is fucking fantastic, and there's so many cool things that they do, and that's the sort of shit I'm into. Or even like Klaus. Like there's so much cool shit, and Spider-Gwen just didn't have any of that I can remember, really. It's still like perfectly fine shots. It's not like mainline Star Wars comic where you look at it and you're like, why the fuck would you do this to these characters? But
it's definitely good enough that I certainly preferred when the main artist was on the book.
Okay.
Like the fill-in issues, definitely. But I'm with you that I cared more about the art in Gwenpool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the art was good in Spider-Gwen.
Oh, yeah.
I would agree that there's not a specific thing that puts it over the top or anything.
Yeah.
It's just very good.
It has a lot of razzle, but not a lot of dazzle.
Sure. I don't know. I also, actually, I take that back a bit, just because I am such a huge Venom mark that all the Venom stuff, it gets me because I'm just a mark.
That's the
for Venom.
You know what? For some reason I completely forgot about that bit, and now that you say it, even just that, like I remember everything now, literally everything. But for some reason, that was cool. That was cool shit. You're right. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because I'm following up. I totally forgot it existed with, I think it's actually my favorite part of the of the comic. Like,
yeah,
that was really cool shit, and I like that interpretation. Like, I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So you're right. I did like even with the art, I liked what they were doing, like with her outfit and stuff, and how
like the weird mouth going down her whole body.
Yeah. No, that was cool shit. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Their alternate version of Wolverine with the Venom suit, not that cool. With his dumb red hit streak in his hair.
Yeah.
Not that good. But other than that, and I just like that the way she comes to term with the Venom symbiote compared to like how it goes for Spider-Man.
Yeah, like
she makes it
that weird asset. Like sort of piece and stuff. It was very good. That was a very good. See, this is stuff like I want to be perfectly clear. I was very good about this episode. I read these comics in a timely and prompt fashion, and Hank slacked off. So this one
life got in the way, certainly.
No, it's totally fine. But this is why I forgot.
We had this episode planned for a while.
Yeah, the world's a fucking mess right now, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my only previous experience with Venom is again from the Tobey Maguire films. Like, that's it. That's what I got as a basis for Venom. So I read this and I was like, oh shit, this is cool. Like, it turns out it's not just, he doesn't make people edgy. Okay, that's neat.
I like that movie, but again, I like everything with Venom. I don't like the list of things that have Venom that involve Venom that I don't like is pretty small.
So
I'm gonna. It's just one of those things. Like that's pretty primal to my comic book fandom. So even like all the and look, Venom comics were mostly bad when I was reading them, but I love all of them. So I'm pretty
I mean, I feel you.
forgiving. Look, there's a time he fought Carnage over the internet
Oh, is it
because
Summer
they
Wars?
definitely understood how the internet worked. And they're because it's like strands of their symbiotes are like going into the computers and fighting like next to the computer chips, but on the big TV, it's projected like it's actually Carnage and Venom fighting somehow.
Hell yeah.
It's because Carnage gets a video game and then he starts murdering people through his video game.
Classic. So,
Like, we got this serial killer. Let's make a video game about him.
oh no.
Venom is disgusted. Oh.
Jeffrey Dahmer, the action RPG of the year. Ugh. So I actually
Venom is
did-
very judgy in a lot of his comics also, I'll say.
Oh, that sounds right.
Very judgy.
I mean, I actually have three after reading this. I have three experiences with Venom. So the worst experience of the three, obviously the Tobey Maguire films. The best experience is comic. The middle experience, the second best or second worst, depending on how you look at it, experience was the sequence from the Tobey Maguire film where the dude just took out like all of the music and other audio, so it's just Peter going like just like spin around at girl. That's yeah.
So, look. The thing I will say about that sequence from that movie is it's a callback.
It really. Oh no.
To the first movie, I think, where Peter is doing that shit of like walking down the street thinking he's hot shit. That's a callback to a also dumb moment in one of those movies.
Okay.
Before people
I
give
remember
specifically Spider-Man 3 too much shit for the same kind of shit that those movies just were, which was camp.
Well, yeah, no, like, I don't think it was any worse than the rest of the anything in those films that I can recall, but like, it's just the funniest.
I just feel like people give that movie particular shit and don't remember that those movies just aren't that good.
Yeah.
Because that silly stuff is not what gets me about those movies. What gets me about those movies is the speechifying.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like now Aunt May is gonna give Peter a big speech about, and that like Spider-Man isn't funny.
Oh, dude, I felt so happy. Again, like it's great when I can use my like teeny little fraction of comic book knowledge to like give someone else information, and I feel like a god. So I was me and Anya were talking about, like, we got talking about these films because like those are also the ones she saw because like she's my age, and we were talking about Aunt May, and she had not seen the new ones, and I made some comment about Aunt May being a slamming hottie. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude. Aunt May's been getting younger for years. I'm like, just regurgitating the information. I felt good. I felt good because I knew things.
One of the few comic book characters that just keeps getting younger all the time.
I mean, and as we've discussed previously, like, it makes sense.
Look, she's what a teenager thinks of an adult, and that they are the oldest person in the world and about to drop dead at any moment.
Like, yeah, I was like, Anya, how old was Spider-Man in that film? Like, he was in university, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, when you were in university, was your aunt 88 years old? Like, it was great. It was great. Yeah, I think I got nothing else for Spider-Gwen really. If there's any last things
Yeah.
you have, otherwise I can transition to the meat and potatoes of the episode.
No, I mean the fact that she's also Venom is like
It's very
makes her a
good.
10 out of 10 character for me.
Yeah,
So I will love
that
her
part
forever.
was that.
As much
part
as I
was
already
really good.
loved her because her design is great,
Yeah.
and I just like the idea of Gwen Stacy being Spider-Man. I'm always in favor of ways to redeem Gwen Stacy, who was not a good character the first time around.
You know what? You saying that reminds me. Did they imply in the comic that like a shitload of Gwen Stacy's have like killed themselves off of that bridge?
It's not that they killed themselves; it's that they get murdered in most universes.
Oh, okay.
That's where Gwen Stacy dies because the Green Goblin throws her off, and then Spider-Man whips her, like tries to save her with a web, and then she breaks her neck. That's just
way to not
what
reduce
happened to
momentum,
Gwen Stacy.
asshole.
Yeah. And so that being like a defining comic book moment means that when you translate that to comic book universe stuff, most that's the thing Gwen Stacy does. So it becomes even a bigger thing. Like that's what the defining aspect of the character.
Yeah.
Because it's a defining aspect of most Spider-Man or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, like, she just wasn't an interest. They didn't know what to do with that character.
I would
Like, she's the love interest who dated Peter and hated Spider-Man. So that part's hard. Also, like they killed Captain Stacy, and then they killed Gwen Stacy. So it was just like piling on tragedies.
Yeah. As you do.
Yeah.
So I really hope that in the next Spider-Verse, it'd be cool if they did some of the Venom shit. That
Hell
would
yeah.
look cool in that movie's style.
I mean,
That'd be
I just
great.
want Venom in all movies. So
Luke
Yeah, all
Skywalker is
movies.
Venom.
hell yeah. I'm down. Again,
Jesus Christ.
I'm down with all things
I'm gonna.
Venom.
I'll hook you up with the thread later. I'll go post this on the Star Wars series discussion subreddit. Venom takes over Luke Skywalker. Now what? 8,000 comments, 4 upvotes. Hell, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, Gwenpool. Gwenpool is really
Gwenpool,
fucking good. It's just a good comic.
Oh, it's so good. It does so much with its very good premise.
So, I like the first. Just as a reminder to like everybody, the first that we read of this, it ended with what's his name, killing other what's his name, like
MODOK
yes,
killed her friend. I forget
yes,
his name.
yeah, human boy.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, like she thinks she's like king of the world, has like comic book protection, blah blah blah, and then dude just gets zapped in front of her, and she's like, wait, shit, what? Like, that was a really good moment. Like it was a good like kind of whiplash moment, I suppose, and I was a little nervous because I don't know how they were. I had no idea like what this would be. With Spider-Man, I always have a bit of a clue. Like I can,
Yeah.
I have ideas at least, but I had no idea here, and like the way they took it was fantastic. Like I never felt like there was information I was missing, but they hit a really sweet spot with like, oh, this is a comic book thing that she's just gonna like step around now or something. But I never felt like they were excluding me as someone who has like zero background information.
I like that this book, instead of the editor, it's just Gwen. Writes the notes, the editor's notes.
Yeah, no, that little like the voice or whatever. I mean the initial stuff is very good, where like her power is just her knowing comic facts. Like that's really cool. I love that idea. And even in the very early part where she's like, yeah, in the very first section, like she's fighting those robots and she's like, oh, they're just using the attack pattern from this video game. Like, bop, bop, bop. Just takes them right out. Great shit. I love that idea. But then when she develops into like, oh, I'm just going to hop into this other comic panel. Like, that's so good. That was such a good way for her to like get a bit of a power. And that whole, like, all the storyline that came with it was super compelling. Like,
Yeah.
no, I need to become a villain, otherwise they're gonna end the run.
Yes,
Like,
now
that's
that
so
plot
good.
line of like, I have to be interesting enough to keep being in comics, or
Yeah, it was so
the
good.
series is gonna end.
That was such a good, like, it was so cool. It was just
Yeah,
amazing.
and the way they make use of like saying this is how much is left of this comic book,
Yeah. Like, look, it all ends.
and the thing, I just she just gets so much joy out of everything. She's just like, she's a comic book fan. She's just like excited about so much.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the joy of this series. Whereas like Spider-Gwen is moody and it like could be a downer, and it's like it's good, but there's just something like energizing about this Gwenpool run that like it's just happy. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah, man. No, that
Even though it's about, a character who just is fine with murdering everyone at the beginning. Because they don't matter.
yeah,
But I
dude.
like that, like, once it turns around, she likes people. She doesn't want to murder people just because she likes them.
I don't know where this was. I took that little screenshot where she's like, I also had a bag of guns on the train. That actually is not allowed. Like, just her
Oh,
stupid
because she
face.
was
She's just
going
so-
vampire hunting.
Yeah, like that like
She's
stupid
all the steaks
smirk
and
she
garlic and
has.
religious symbols.
She's just like so happy about everything.
Yeah.
Or who the little town with the necromancer. Who was
Yeah.
Oh, Blade. Blade was there. That's
Yeah.
right. And he like leaves. He's like, "No, they're good. They're fine. It's all okay. Like everyone is happy here." Like, "Oh, we're using their children to Blade, come back."
Oh no, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. No. It was a happy village of the undead that is living off the souls of their children.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
But like just that it was silly. It was silly and it was fun.
Yeah.
And like
Just the way she plays with the rules of comics.
mm-hmm.
She knows. It's just,
the
good.
I'm
in
forgetting.
a way that honestly Deadpool isn't, because when Deadpool does it, it feels out of place to me always. Because it's just a thing that develops with that character over time as a joke. It's so
Deadpool doing it?
core to Gwenpool that I think it works better.
So Deadpool didn't always do that?
No, Deadpool just started out as a ripoff character.
Okay.
Like there's a DC character called Deathstroke, who's a Teen Titans villain, who has that design of like he's like a mercenary thing, but he has the design of like one half of his face is blue, one half is orange or whatever. And Rob Liefeld just drew that guy but made him red and black, so he looked more like Spider-Man. And then the writer at the time was like, this guy just looks like Deathstroke. So Rob Liefeld is like, all right, so Deathstroke's Slade Wilson. So this is Deadpool's a completely unique character, Wade Wilson. And so he was just like a villain for Wolverine to fight, or for whoever to fight in whatever book he was in. I forget what it was. X-Force, I think. And then like writers over time made him more interesting and made him more jokey and made him start breaking the fourth wall at some point. I think even like it was even like in his second run that it really started. His first run, where I read the character, he was still mostly just a character, but like, you know, he has Wolverine's healing factor, except better somehow, and you know, down on his luck, dude. Like he had like way more of a plot back then. Mm-hmm. They dropped of like him being a hero or whatever. They've done all kinds of weird things with him, but like the breaking the fourth wall thing only developed over time.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and isn't a part of him in like the comics. Isn't really a part of the comics I've liked the most with him. Like honestly, it's usually not a thing, but it is certainly a thing. People who like Deadpool, a character who is way too popular, because like the Deadpool popularity comes in phases where it goes from like there are no Deadpool books to suddenly there are 4 Deadpool books or whatever.
Yeah,
people.
See, and I thought
get a little too excited.
I really thought initially, and this is, I mean, I probably mentioned this when we first read Gwenpool a little bit. Like, I thought it was just going to be a Spider-Woman situation where it's like, I'm the exact thing that this character is, but I'm the opposite gender. Or something, like a slight variation.
I mean, Gwenpool started just as a joke based around Spider-Gwen getting popular and then them just drawing like covers with different characters as Gwen Stacy's. And then after like, so Gwenpool did become famous after a drawing that became very popular, and they were like, okay, we'll write something with this character. But Chris Hastings, who wrote those stories, came up with good ideas. Wrote really good stuff. And like turned the Deadpool fourth wall stuff up to 11.
Yeah.
Made it the whole character.
So,
instead of just, she's crazy.
So I'm trying to remember. I remember when I got to the part where like Doctor Doom showed up. So
where the Doombot showed up?
The Doombot showed up, and then Doctor Doom shows up. Because he's like not evil anymore.
Yeah, because it's like actual continuity or whatever is going on with Doctor Doom at the time. He's not evil.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I haven't read that comic, so I don't know the context.
Oh,
apparently.
My God. Don't you know that you have to read all of the comics so that you can fill me in on all of my asinine questions?
I read all the comics up to 2015. Well, and I burned out.
You got 5 years of work to catch up on.
I'm aware. Don't worry. I'm aware.
I mean, I have a lot of Star Wars stuff to catch up on, so that if someone ever asks me about a random Stormtrooper
I know that there's a lot of stuff I haven't read that's good. I know there's a lot of stuff I haven't read that's great. And I know there's a lot of stuff that there's just information I don't have.
Yeah.
And that's another reason to read things.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. Like, I want that new Star Wars stuff. Now that we're done with the films, that's like my next deep dive. Also, more Godzilla stuff.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
they're
That
doing
Godzilla show for babies is pretty fucking great. I don't know
It's
what
really
else
good.
you could
It's
want
really
from
good.
Godzilla.
Um,
Gojibon.
I was just gonna ask. I'm getting the names confused. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Spider-Man Goes to Paris.
Yeah,
Okay. They
that
had
was
to
the
put.
second movie.
They had to just put home in both titles. Make it real easy for everyone to remember.
Yeah.
Is it like is I assume there's a third one confirmed, right?
No.
No, it's not confirmed.
Well,
Damn.
they're gonna make a third one, but they haven't
Like they haven't said it
said
really.
the name yet because they had to do contract negotiations between Disney and Sony,
Right,
which
that
they
nonsense.
finished, but like that was the whole thing.
Right, I
So
remember that now.
so who knows when they're gonna make that movie at this point?
Okay.
What with the world?
I remember that now.
I mean, their theoretical plans were 4 movies, one for each year of high school, but like by the time they make that next movie,
Yeah.
Tom Holland appears to not age, so maybe it'll be fine.
Yeah. I just okay. Yeah, I had forgotten about the Sony contract thing. I remember.
Yeah.
So, my brother-in-law was like, "Who would want Spider-Man to leave Marvel?" And I'm like, "I do. Get him out of there." Tony Stark, who?
I just want Sony to keep the animation thing deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Spider-Man being in part of the Marvel Universe because he makes the Marvel Universe better.
Like for the in general or like the cinematic universe?
In general,
Okay.
Spider-Man makes the Marvel Universe better
I mean,
because he's Spider-Man.
see,
And things with Spider-Man are better.
I just want. It's not that I want Spider-Man out of the Avengers. I want the Avengers out of Spider-Man. It's really the better way to phrase it.
And I don't. It doesn't bother me. I'm cool with Spider-Man being a legacy hero. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'll see the third film. I won't be happy about it, but I'll do it, and maybe it will surprise me. You think we'll ever? So I guess that's actually a good question. If you know, like how popular is Gwenpool? Like, could there ever feasibly be like a film or something someday, or is it far too niche for that? If you have any idea.
I think it's far too niche.
Okay.
But I don't know.
That would be my first assumption. I mean, I feel like the average person would just assume that it's female Deadpool, right? Like I did.
Yeah. And it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to know. But yeah, I wouldn't. The thing is, there are Marvel movies that succeeded that are not based on popular characters anyway.
Well, like isn't Guardians
Like
of the Galaxy?
The Eternals is the next big Marvel movie. Those are not popular characters.
I don't even know.
I would say people probably have a stronger attraction to Gwenpool than to any Eternals character. Really.
I don't even know what Eternals like. What is that?
It's the next big Marvel movie, but it's like based on Jack Kirby stuff that's not nobody cares about.
Huh.
Except it ties into the Celestials, which are like godlike characters that create life on Earth. That are like you can do interesting stuff with, but the Eternals themselves not that interesting. So who knows what they're they're doing it because the Guardians worked. So they're like, we can take this Marvel property that no one really gives a shit about and do whatever with it and make it something different.
Yeah.
Because like there was a version of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics that was in one story people liked, but that version is not really like the movie version because it was way more self-serious. Like it did not have any of the jokiness that movie had. Mm-hmm. Star-Lord was not a jokester. He was just, a leader, a boring leader character who had a cool mask.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. I wanted. So like, the Eternals. You said what? Celestial something?
Celestials.
The Celestials.
Yeah.
The Eternals. Here we. Oh, I accidentally clicked back. Ugh. The Eternals. Race of the same name. Okay. Literally, I was thinking maybe I've seen like an image. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Like none at all.
Yeah. They're not. I mean, like, my friend who's like, he read the Infinity Gauntlet comic and like a handful of other stuff, but like he knows the Celestials because like two of them are like in a couple panels and don't do anything in the original comic where Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, but they're like just there as part of a group of like the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe. So they're like known because like if you're the kind of comic book fan that goes around debating who's stronger, they're very strong.
Yeah, you gotta know.
Yeah. Uh-huh. There's like there's a comic that purports as Galactus's function is to like eat Celestials that are hidden in planets. But like that are like gonna hatch, like planets or eggs, and Galactus goes up and drinks the yolk. Like that's his. It's the plot of Earth X, but that's not even mainline continuity.
I'm looking at the
it's not like they've done Galactus yet, so.
Who's isn't like Mr. Universe or something the most powerful? Isn't he just like the creator? Isn't it supposed to be like Stan Lee or something?
There's the Captain Universe power, but there's Eternity, who is the physical embodiment of the Marvel Universe. Like he's just a dude who is the Marvel Universe. The whole like he's like has like a star body and he's like half a blue face. And in the JLA Avengers comic, they made up a version like equivalent of the DC universe that was a lady with a green face so they could make out. That happened.
Right.
Remember that time the Marvel universe and the DC universe just made out?
I mean,
and they stopped making out.
They're so off again, on again.
Mostly off again.
Yeah. I'm looking at the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we got Black Widow, which, as I recall, is hilarious because didn't she die?
Yes.
Great.
So it takes place in the past.
Disgusting. Who would do that? Who would make a film and then set the next one in the past? That's ridiculous.
A lot of things, including Star Wars.
Also Godzilla. That MonsterVerse. Going from
Godzilla's
2014 to 1976, my dude. Right back.
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla's mostly, it was like continuity resets more than anything.
Yeah.
But I guess there was Destroy All Monsters just jumped to the future, so every movie that's made after that is the past.
But yeah, we got
Destroy All Monsters is the canonical defeat of.
We got Black Widow, and we got the Eternals. Then we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
Then the Spider-Man. Far
Again,
From
not
Home
a, not a. He's the character that trained Iron Fist, who's a known character, but Iron Fist is like, that's pretty racist. So they went with they're just trying to make the less racist version of doing that character.
I mean, that one's gonna be great.
Not doing the American dude that learned about the Eastern arts.
Well, I mean, it's great because people are going to go...
Who's mostly based on Chuck
Shang-Chi?
Norris.
Great.
So Shang-Chi is sort of theoretically based on Bruce Lee. Like, theoretically. But also not at all. But,
So there's that.
yeah, Iron Fist is based on Chuck Norris.
And then, suppose...
And they had
I
that
guess-
Netflix TV show that nobody liked. Because everyone hated Iron Fist. So that's part of that, too.
Then we have the untitled Spider-Man film, which supposedly is November 2021. Thor: Love and Thunder. I feel like the title is 10 out of 10. Like that's, a fucking great title.
You're getting
name.
Lady Thor, where Natalie Portman is going to become Thor.
See, that's my fucking problem. There's like these things that I care about in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but also I don't want to have to. It said like I clicked on the link and it said Guardians of the Galaxy will make an appearance, and I'm like, I don't want them to make an appearance. I don't want to have to deal with other things from other movies necessarily. It's too much, but like I'm down for that. I'm absolutely like maybe I just watch the Thor films and say frick it.
Thor Ragnarok, I really liked.
That's what I've heard. I've literally only seen, again, like...
I think you could skip the other Thor movies, honestly.
After...
First one's barely a movie.
I'm trying to think what I've seen, like, after the Avengers. Like, the first Avengers film. Winter Soldier, Iron Man 3... That might be the end of the list. I don't remember.
Sure.
I don't think I've finished all of Winter Soldier. I don't know. It's definitely Iron Man 3. That's the only one I can say with certainty. But I'd be down to revisit Thor maybe. Cuz like I thought that stuff was cool at least. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that's going to be March 2022. I could not possibly care less.
I mean, it's a good title.
It's a good title. Yeah.
I hated that other Doctor Strange movie, but it's a good title.
I'll give it that. Yeah. Going from good title to the opposite end of the title spectrum, we have Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Just Black Panther 2. What a letdown.
Yeah, I wonder what the plot of that one's going to be.
And then untitled Captain Marvel sequel.
Yeah.
So like that's...
And also a bunch of TV shows.
I was looking at the TV shows and none of them caught my eye until I looked down and I saw She-Hulk.
What if, though?
I just saw that as well, and I'm like, if this is what I think it is, I could be totally down.
It's based on the comic. What if?
So like, so we're gonna
like,
do
what if the Punisher were Captain America, or whatever? What if Spider-Man had turned into an actual spider?
What if Godzilla was Spider-Man?
No, they didn't make that issue.
Surprisingly,
I'm only listing real comics.
the fuck out of it, real like it. Like that's any more ridiculous than anything else that's happened.
What if Silver Surfer Carnage stayed Silver Surfer Carnage? I forget what Silver Surfer Carnage had his special name. I'm sure he did.
Silver Carnage Surfer.
You gotta get all three of those words are important. They're all very descriptive.
This description where they're talking about the Watchers,
Yeah.
and I did like that bit in. Shit, I actually forget if it was in Gwenpool. No, it was in Gwenpool, because she was like, Miles made an appearance there as well, I believe, right? Like they were trying to stop her or something.
Well, Miles was in both books.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So they were like trying to stop her, and she said,
The
no.
Watchers were in Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. No. Shit. Which one am I thinking?
Yes.
No, I'm thinking. You're sure
The
they weren't
Watchers were in
Gwenpool?
Spider-Gwen because that's where Spider-Ham was. That was the alternate That was the alternate future that was a strict universe.
Okay. Right. Okay, so they were in that one, but that one I remember now. I'm getting it all in order. So I had no fucking clue what a Watcher was, obviously, before this. But then reading Spider-Gwen, like very easy to figure out, like new information, but fuck it, let's roll with it. There's these things called Watchers that watch universes. Fair enough. Moving on.
Yeah. I mean, in the original, there was one Watcher. He was Watu. He watched the Marvel Universe. But then there's, there are other Marvel universes besides 616, which is the universe we care about. So there are other Watus, other Watchers.
But in Gwenpool, she she says something to Miles, and he's like, "Wait, how did you know?" And she's like, "A Watcher told me." Like she ran into one or whatever, or something. He's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." I thought that was good. It also felt nice because I actually knew.
Yes, exactly. It's like how is this power of having knowledge of stuff? How can you tell it to another character in the Marvel universe where it makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
It could be. Oh fuck, I forget her name. There's a character her mutant power. She knows things. That's how she describes it. She knows things. She's in X Factor. I forget her name. Actually, it's not her mutant power. Her mutant power was like she had demon powers or something, but then when most mutants lose their powers, she loses her powers. But then for reasons she knows things. Reasons.
I mean, where are all of the plant-based superheroes? Where is Venom but plants? Imagine plant Venom.
Plant superheroes.
I know we got villains. At least
Only
I know.
plant
I know.
Plants are too evil.
I know, like Poison Ivy. I think that might literally be the only one that I know of offhand.
There's Swamp Thing, and then there's the Marvel Universe equivalent Man Thing.
Fuck yeah, dude. Man Thing. That's what they call me.
Yeah. He can teleport. He's a large, slow-moving, empathic humanoid swamp monster.
Great.
He lives in the Florida Everglades. Man Thing. The Thunderbolts used him as a teleporter for a while. So those are my... there's a Swamp Thing movie.
That sounds like a
Bad.
like a D-grade horror film.
Pretty much.
Hell yeah.
Other plant-based heroes. I can't think of any. Only Unholy Monsters. Sorry, Ben. We've got Unholy Monsters and Sexy Evil Lady. So,
I mean, I'll take Sexy Evil Lady. I can. fucking deal with it. You're telling me there's no alternate thing where Poison Ivy is a good person? I was under the assumption that
I'm sure there's a time where she was a hero.
I mean, it'd be kind of weird
I'm
if
sure
they
that
didn't
exists.
have her randomly. Like,
There's definitely times where she's at least less evil.
I was gonna say I'll
Like
be
her
right
and
on
Harley
fucking,
are just
like,
hanging out.
Yeah, I'll be right on like
They're comics where they're like they're not heroes, they're not bad guys, they're just they're just around.
I actually have an instance of this. So I added it to my list of things to check out on Netflix if you haven't already. DC superhero girls. Like I think it was originally like a YouTube thing maybe, and then it became a show. It's Lauren Foss.
I think I've seen one of those shorts or something.
I actually really enjoy the show. It's quite good. But there's a bit where like Green Lantern is like kind of a hippie tree hugger, and her and Poison Ivy's normal ego are like helping trying to save this tree together. That was nice. It's a good episode.
Okay. That's a weird thing for Green Lantern to be, considering Green Lanterns are just cops.
Yeah. I mean, there's another Green Lantern who's kind of a jock douche, so.
There are many Green Lanterns.
Well, yeah.
They're
but I mean, the two that we've
space
encountered
cops.
in
also they're like
that
they're
show.
like 5 from Earth.
Also, it's just funny to me that like all of these heroes are just like lame ass teenagers.
I mean, yeah, man. Oh, is Krakoa count as plant-based?
The hell is Krakoa?
It's a big monster that's like also like.
Why
Earth.
monster? Why always monster? What the hell? How do you spell it? How do you spell it?
Krakoa, Krakoa.
Earth 616. Why is he okay?
He's from Giant Size X-Men #1. It's the first issue where people cared about the X-Men.
Wielding a twilight sword. That sounds fucking cool. I mean, is it based on... It sounds like this is just a thing that happens in other comics instead of him being the focus. So that's sad.
He's like around. You're right. There
He's
aren't
around.
Krakoa comics. There's no Krakoa #1.
That's because they're
Mostly
cowards.
things happen on
They're
top of him.
cowards.
Like they
Things
built
happen
a school on top of him. I think the X-Men now live on Krakoa.
Right.
That's just where they live now.
That checks out. They're all cowards.
Apparently, there's a character called Sequoia from Fantastic Four, who's like was just a prototype for Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. But she's more plant-based instead of being a bug lady. Also, apparently there's a comic book character just called Plant Man. I didn't know about Plant Man.
Go
I learned
on.
about Plant Man.
Fucking plant man.
He made his debut in Strange Tales #113, written by Stan Lee and Joe Carter. An
bit on the
orphan
nose.
British botanist who became convinced he could give intelligence to and communicate with plants. He invented a gun designed to bring plants to life called the Veg Ray.
The Veg
He's
Ray.
become the supervillain Plant Man.
And how'd it go? Where's his
Probably badly,
where's his 2000
because he's a supervillain in the 50s.
run?
I don't think he ever got his own comic.
Lame.
Again, if you're looking for plant-based characters who had their own comic, you're looking at Man-Thing and Swamp-Thing. Those are the superhero characters.
I know what I'm gonna do this summer.
There's a Floronic Man. There's
Okay.
another plant
I don't like that.
supervillain.
I don't like that it leads real easily into moronic man, but sure. Wait, do you say he's
So there are a
also a
bunch of
villain?
plant-based Swamp Thing villains, like Lady Weeds.
No, I'm just. Hey, these are superheroes, though. What's your superhero name? I'm Weed Man.
Apparently, there's a character called Tumbleweed.
Oh shit! Is it just rubber, but a tumbleweed? Like telepathically blowing people up?
I don't know. He's the power to change the shape of the plants that are his body.
Okay, I mean, it's lame as hell, but like beggars can't be choosers, dude.
Apparently, he's a member of World War II era superhero group, the Paladins.
Fucking weird.
Hmm.
Anyway,
I read Number of the Beast, which is apparently the comic he's from. Sorry, you're stuck with Man Thing and Swamp Thing.
just a massive disappointment. My day started off pretty nicely too. It's quickly gone down a bit of a slope.
Does it help if you call Swamp Thing Alec? You just call him Alec.
That makes it
Also,
worse.
there's Groot. How am I forgetting Groot? Groot is plant-based.
Does he have his? I mean, yeah,
He's a
but does he
hero.
have his own thing, or is he always with the Guardians of the Galaxy?
He's always with Rocket. They're Rocket and Groot comics. That's what they're from. They predate being part of the.
I
There's
mean,
like one
I
miniseries or
could
something
accept
where it
that.
has
I could
Rocket and
accept
Groot.
Groot,
And then-
Groot and Rocket.
Yeah, they're buddies.
Okay. I mean, Groot's easily
Their
the best
stories
part
where
of those
they-
films.
Come from the same planet where it's actually a mental institution, and they're both crazy.
How the hell is Groot crazy? He's a tree.
Well, he's not
He's an ant.
he's not Groot. There's like a whole planet of Groots, and he's like the worst Groot. I don't remember.
He's
I read that
worse
comic a
Groot.
while ago.
Oh no. Anyway, Gwenpool is very good. Spider-Gwen,
Yes.
also good, but it took longer to get there. As I recall, the Venom bit was pretty deep into that.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen, you really feel the story is not moving fast enough because we have all these crossovers in the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I did want to mention, just before we finish up, I had started the next Gwenpool thing, which is not like even remotely done, I believe. I mean, I don't want to judge it too quickly, but I wasn't a huge fan right off the bat. It seems like they sort of walked back some stuff or something. It felt off somehow. I can't quite put my finger on it. So maybe if we check it out, or see, I don't think it's done. I forget if it was like if it's into it a little ways and I just read a tiny bit, or if there was only a little bit out so far and that's what I read. But yeah, it had a I guess it felt less silly, I think, off the bat. So that was a bit of a turnoff. But we'll see. I am kind of on the flip side. I'm looking forward. I did read some more of the Gwenpool stuff and went ahead in that a little, and that seems like cool so far. Like I was enjoying where that was heading a bit. So yeah, I'll probably try to keep up a little bit with these because they're good stuff.
Hell yeah. We'll have to do more comic stuff at some point.
Yeah.
Although the the comic book things that I would most want to do currently are manga. There are 2 manga series.
I mean,
other than superhero comics.
I'm not necessarily opposed. I can weeb out for a bit.
Because I'd want to do. Been wanting to revisit Akira.
Okay.
And then there's Pluto, which is like more adult noir retelling of an arc of Astro Boy.
Okay.
So
you know what? I was
that
it
bit of
sounded
Astro
familiar,
Boy,
and I was like, this is related to
Pluto.
Astro Boy. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
because
I'm
that
down
comic's
to
just
check
fucking
stuff out.
great.
I mean, I read the entire manga of Shaman King, so like I can muscle through stuff.
Yeah. So, and then Akira would be the comic and the movie.
I've never done either, so
Yeah. The movie is like,
isn't it
well,
like
it's
an
one of the
all-time
greatest
great?
pieces of animation ever made.
Yeah,
But also,
yeah.
it's like half the story of the comic, and then it's like a cobbled together ending.
Gotcha.
Like, there's a moment where the character of Akira is introduced in the comic, and in the movie, he's dead.
Oh.
In the comic, he is alive. And in the movie, it's like, nope, he's dead. Now we're end game. Let's finish this. Whereas the comic is like half over at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Akira is also like the version of Blade Runner I like. In terms of cyberpunk
Gotcha.
future
Yeah.
movie.
I don't know what it is, but like Blade Runner has never really spoken to me much.
Yeah, it never clicked with me. I mostly, yeah, it didn't. That one never did anything. Well, it's plenty of things inspired by Blade Runner have. But
Mm.
like
Yeah, no,
Akira.
I'm down to check stuff out, man. And in return,
Well,
I will pick things that are watered down disappointments to repay you with with your selections.
so you can find us. Wait, I have to check our email. saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. Salt Circle Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, And you can find me on Twitter @ComicPanels.
And I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. Also, like, what happens if I change my Twitter handle back? Probably just like fuck it for the rest of the episodes, right? Like, just
Yeah,
leave
I
it?
mean, we changed
Okay.
our hosting thing from where the early
That's true.
episodes was. We
That's
are now
true.
hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. We aren't on
Okay.
SoundCloud anymore.
I might just like
And just said,
do that at some point.
We're giving if you want the up-to-date info where to find us, you gotta listen to the latest episode.
That's true.
We could be fucking anywhere. Our names could be anything.
We can't stay in one place too long. We gotta stay on the move.
I could accidentally just say the wrong thing at this point in the episode. Who knows? I lost my cue card with all the facts on it. Just off the dome.
Or that time when I had to give the information. It was high stress situation. First time in like 100 episodes that I had to say it. I'm like, oh my god.
All right. I hope you're all ready for our next project where we read through every issue of Venom.
Oh.
So the fun thing is, because he was a villain, he's not a good guy, the editorial at Marvel was not comfortable giving Venom an ongoing in the 90s. Instead, they gave him running miniseries.
Oh my god.
Just over and over and over and over and over again.
Ugh.
Like 3-issue miniseries, 4-issue miniseries after 2-issue miniseries, constantly and
That's
mostly
gross.
overhauling the creative team every time. And like a lot of them, it's all about like who's the guest star in this time. Like this time it's Venom and the Punisher. This time it's Venom versus the Juggernaut.
That's really gross.
They had him move to San Francisco so he wouldn't interact with Spider-Man as much. He moved in with a group of homeless people who lived in a city buried under a secret city underneath San Francisco. He became their lethal protector. He was the lethal protector because he's still Venom.
Why?
So he murders people, but he's the protagonist now. So he protects people
How
and tells them don't do drugs.
How fucking
very
difficult
judgy.
would it be to make a Venom-ish character and then just call him the lethal protector? Like,
He's Venom,
right there.
the lethal protector.
lethal. He's plants.
Lethal?
He's plants now.
No.
Fine, I'll do it myself. I'll become the lethal protector. I beat people
Okay,
up
so
with a
we
tree
have to
branch.
watch all of Beast Wars, and then we can watch Beast Machines, which has a transformer who's a plant lady.
I mean,
She's a robot plant lady who transforms from being a robot plant lady into being a robot plant lady.
I'm down. Did we not watch Beast Wars? We watched Beast Wars. Or did we just watch part of Beast Wars?
I don't think we did any Beast Wars.
We definitely did some Beast Wars.
No.
It sounds
I
familiar
would
as hell.
remember if we did Beast Wars.
Wars. Oh, it's fucking this thing. What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
What the hell was that?
Digimon?
No, not don't disrespect me like that on the episode.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of another show from the 90s that I love.
No. We did an anime that had like a beast, a human raised by beasts.
Tarzan.
It's not. Get out
The
of my
Jungle
house.
Book.
I swear to God. No, there was like another world. There was like these anthropomorphic animals. They raised a human. There was like a battle. He like goes into the real world, and this beast like wants to kill people. Beast.
Godzilla's Revenge.
Beast
I
Boy.
don't know.
The Boy and the Beast. The Boy and the Beast.
Oh, The Boy and the Beast. That's very different.
Yeah, but that's what I thought. They both have the word
Okay.
beast in the name. I'm justified. Is this a movie? It's a movie.
Beauty
isn't
and the Beast. Yeah. It was a movie.
it? Okay. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
All right.
I own that
Yeah,
movie on
it's
Blu-ray.
a very good film.
Very pretty. Has that whale.
I don't recall the whale.
It was like swimming under the city
Okay.
at the end.
Sounds like a shot that I'd be a
was like a
slut for.
Moby
Yeah.
Dick thing.
All right. Yeah, we can probably just.
Look forward to episode 1 of Attack and Defund God.
Oh, it's gonna be an angry one.
I need all of your energy. Please. I'm not strong enough.